Hey everybody, welcome in. This is Julie Max in the Maine Stamper. It is time for your weekly card class for Maine. It's Monday night. It's 8 o'clock on the East Coast here. And I have a zany set of cards for you tonight. I am so excited to share these cards. They are from the Zany Zoo suite, right? So of course you think zoo and you're thinking giraffes and maybe elephants and lions and things like that, but these might be a little bit different. These are fun cards though. We have Later Gator, we have a gator card, we have a llama. I love this one so much, the knitting llama, and of course we have this little friendly raccoon, right? So these are the three cards from our card class tonight. Are they not the most adorable sets of cards? Now there are some amazing things that these cards have in common, and there are some amazing differences too, and I'm going to talk all about those because I love that kind of stuff. So make sure you're saying hi as you jump on. Hi Jess, good to go. Thank you. Hi Jackie, so glad you guys are here tonight. Thank you so much. I love to know who's watching and hanging out with me in the craft rooms. This is always exciting for me. If you're watching replay, thank you so much. Tell me you're watching replay. I love that too. I also like to know what time you guys watch replay. I check it out. You know, I'm watching you watch me, just so you know. All right, let's get over to my workspace. We're going to talk about the cards. Actually, before I jump to my workspace, we are running out of time to sign up for the Card Maker Collective Club for May. Here's one of the cards. Lovely, right? Ooh, another really pretty card. And this is my monthly card kit. You're going to get consumable products. You're going to get half a pack of the Fresh as a Daisy Designer Series paper. You're going to get 8 card kits, so 2 of each of these card kits. You're going to get twine. These are all the in colors, and I used 4 of them on these cards. You're going to get a pack of embellishments, and you also have the opportunity to get the Cheerful Daisies bundle at the catalog price. So basically, if you sign up for my Card Maker Collective Club, you're getting all the things. It's under $40, and then you can also get the stamp and die are separate, but they're catalog price. So let me know if you're interested. I do have a whole page on my blog for that, and I do these monthly. So every month we do another stamp set, another die. You know, maybe it's a bundle. Sometimes I do punches. 8 cards, consumable products, lots of fun. So, and I forgot to mention, when you do 6 of these in a row with me, I'm giving you $25 of free Stampin' Up merchandise in my online store. So you do get like a little bump at the end too. So if you hang out with me for 6 consecutive months, 6 in a row, you get that $25 for free, whatever you want. I'm not going to pick it out for you. You get to pick out your own product. All right, let's get over and talk to my Zany Zoo friends over here. Woohoo! Okay, so Zany Zoo annual catalog. There's a whole suite. This is on page 46 and 47 is where you're really going to see the big spread on the Zany Zoo. So what I love the most about Zany Zoo maybe is the paper. Can we talk about the paper for a minute? Now this paper, I don't know, maybe it doesn't float your boat, but if you're a fan of black and white, you may want to check out the back side of these papers, because the back side is all about black and white, right? So we're going to use these on our cards today too. Black and white versions, right? So lots of black and white papers. And on the opposite side are all the critters. So if you see all the critters, you may be thinking, oh, I don't want this pack of paper. It's all about like critters. But the back side is awesome. So they coordinate with the Zany Zoo stamp set and dies. Now, obviously they coordinate with the dies, right? So on each sheet, you have a die from this die set that's going to die cut out somebody over here. So on this one, it's the skunk and the birdie. So you're going to see same stamped image over here if you get the stamps, and you can die cut out the skunk and the bird. Now you can fussy cut all these other critters. You can use a circle punch on them. You can, make little squares out of them. So you can get lots of little critters out of these. You can color some of them in if you want to. You can leave them black and white. So that's that particular sheet. Now on the next one, we would be die cutting out to match the little singing turtle. So this little singing turtle right here with the microphone, If you have the Merry Medley embossing folder, this is a really great go with, right? We've got some more music notes here. So this sheet is going to cut this one out. And look at all of the critters playing the instruments, right? Very musical. I love the frog and flute. He might be my favorite. We've got a beaver with bongo drums. I mean, like, this is Dr. Seuss, right? We've got the the fun things here going on. All right, so on another page, we have the ballet. We have the dancers. So we've got a stamp set that looks just like this one. And then, of course, there's going to be a coordinating die to get this one out of there exactly. But we have a very graceful deer, and I love the leaping lamb. Leaping lamb, right? Happy hippo, all of the good things there. On this page, we have the later gator. I love this one. Actually, this might be my favorite stamp here. The alligator on the bike, right? So we've got, you can absolutely get him out of here. We've got a little fox here driving this little speedy go-kart. No, this is not a go-kart. What would this be called? This is just a little, I don't know, whatever sidekick he's on. He's having a good time, right? So again, you've got the bunny on the scooter. So you can get all of these things punched out, die cut. However, the ostrich. I probably haven't really looked at this well enough yet. We haven't, like, an ostrich on roller skates. So much fun. Okay, also fun, don't miss the llama, right? So we are using the llama tonight. This is the knitting llama. So of course there's a die to die cut the llama out. But I love the goat with the mixing bowl. And then of course we've got a bear with a book. And we got a hedgehog painting. We've got this sloth here doing some yoga, meditation. Okay, and then lastly, we have this one. Now this one's going to be the raccoon with the balloons, which we're using tonight again. So again, there's a die for raccoon. But how fun is the pup doing the little party popper favor here? And he's got confetti. We've got an elephant with a banner, an armadillo with a gift. I mean, these are just fun papers. So I wanted to point this out to you because when demonstrators were able to pre-order this back in April, Zany Zoo Suite was on our list. We could get the stamps, we could get the dies, we could get the paper, the ribbon, and of course I got it, because why would I not, right? But it really wasn't my favorite until I started playing with it. And also seeing other people's samples, because there's samples here, but there's a lot online too. This has been a very popular stamp set and bundle. And now that I've played with it, I can kind of see why. So I'm joining the Zany Zoo band and just saying that I'm having a good time with this entire thing as well. So let's talk a little bit about your card kits. Let me move that aside. I know I'm going to lose everything tonight. I've got so many things here. All right, so here's our cards. Again, we're going to be working on these 3 cards tonight. And this is what your card kits look like. Now, they're always pretty hefty card kits. I probably should weigh these individually just to see how much paper I actually put in here. I do a lot of layers. Now, you're going to see a lot of layers on here, right? Because I go a little bit crazy. So you are getting 2 of each when you order in my online store this week. This is good through Friday evening at midnight, and you're going to use host code XQ6KHT4A. It is also in the description. $35 is going to get you the card kits, 2 of each, so 6 card kits. A $50 order is going to get you the card kits and the free embellishment. Now this week's free embellishment is going to be the classic matte dots. So these are the little dots that come in white, vanilla, gray, and black. And I have used these on these cards. Alligator's got his on the bicycle. Like right in the middle of his bicycle wheels. So anyway, you will get a free embellishment if you put an order in that's over 50. These are totals before shipping and tax. And if you order over 150, don't use my host code. Please be your own host. Earn your own free rewards. And I'm still going to get you these fantastic card kits and the embellishment and all of that good stuff. So let's get going on card number 1. We're going to talk about, again, the differences and the similarities. So today I'm going to be covering, besides Zany Zoo, 3 different coloring techniques. So I actually did 3 different techniques on these cards just to color in my little critters. And I'm going to show you one by one. We're going to knock some out, knock some ideas out. Of course, I have my favorite, but I would love to know what your favorite coloring technique is as well. And we have similarities. So all of these, of course, have the black and white designer series paper, because that's just super easy to use. They also, each of these cards has, I don't know if you noticed or not, right, a black sentiment piece that has been heat embossed in white. So this is I think this is really great, like if you're gifting cards away and you want to have things that are similar, and maybe you're making, 6 or more cards for somebody, packaging them up. When you can make them look like they're a set, like this looks like a really great set, right? Because they all have those similar features on them, then you guys look so professional too. I love that whole that look when I can pull that together. And at the same time, we have different colors. Each of these cards has different colors in it, and just so much fun. So we're going to start with Later Gator, and we're going to work on this card first. So we're going to pull out all the parts and pieces. I'm going to assemble one with you, and then move on to the next. So of course you're getting, again, 2 card bases. You're getting 2 of each. You've got 2 envelopes here. All right, here is my scored card base. Again, this is a landscape card, so let's keep that landscape, Julie, so we remember. This cool embossing piece. Now, the things that are embossed and die cut that don't belong to the bundle, you're getting from me already done. So you're going to get this embossed piece. This is that tire track embossing folder. You may have seen it in the motorcycle suite back in the spring catalog. You are going to have to die cut your own alligator. So you're going to have to stamp and die cut him. Let me put that aside over here. And I am die cutting for you some radiating stitches, the circle for your sentiment piece. You're getting a little bit of designer paper, some cardstock, and there is a kit ready to go for our first card. I'm going to set that behind me. And let's just set up the bones of the card first, just so you can see what you're going to get if you decide you don't want the Zany Zoo. Maybe you don't like the Zany Zoo, but you're like, I really need to get something this week from the online store. I'd like to get some card kits because maximize your value, right? Don't just order. Order when you can get freebies. And so I'm going to set this up and show you. We're going to just put this embossed piece on here. This is Parakeet Party, by the way, probably my least favorite green. I am pushing myself tonight to use this green because it is my least favorite. Now, I've been using the Lemon Lime a lot. That's a new color that's returned. It wasn't in color. And I love the Lemon Lime, although I didn't love it before. Like when it was first out, it was not my favorite. Now I'm really liking it. Isn't it funny how colors grow on you? Like you change tastes and colors. And this color right here is Orchid Oasis. So these 2 colors are actually in colors that will be retiring a year from now. So we have them for a full another year. I thought I should probably use them a little bit. All right, so we are just layering and layering because I do like to do the layering. I'm just going to put some adhesive on here, and I'm going to add this to this section right here so that everything is cut for you so nicely. You can definitely move things around. If you wanted to make this a portrait card, you could definitely change things up too this way, but I'm creating mine in the landscape position. All right, so we also have this piece of radiating stitches, and we've got a little black piece of cardstock here. Now, I use the black just to kind of give my alligator here, his little bicycle, something to land on, right? To sit on. So I'm going to put this piece of black cardstock just down to where the radiating stitches dies start. So it's just down here at the bottom. You can see the stitches. It may be a little bit longer than the cardstock because this is an odd shaped die, but I wanted to have very even piece of cardstock for the recipe. I didn't want to have to say, 7/16 and something like that, right? So when you get the card kits, you also get the card recipes, if you're wondering what all these dimensions are. All right, so I'm just going to trim that up a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. This is going to layer on here. Look how quick this is all coming together because the work is all done. That's the best part. Now you might notice that this radiating stitches piece in this Parakeet Party green is just slightly wider than the designer paper. And when I put all my layers on, I try to make sure that everything flows really nicely because I would like to say that I'm a layering specialist. I do love to layer. All right, so here are the bones of our card right here. So if you did not put a gator on here and you did put on a sentiment, you could add something else that you have at home and you could have a really awesome card. Now I felt like this designer series paper also mimicked tire tracks, right? So we've got some kind of a tire track theme going on. And another thing I thought of when I was die cutting this or embossing this is that these they kind of look like little sharp teeth, which kind of remind me of the alligator's teeth. So there we go, right? Now I'm going to talk a little bit about Mr. Gator. So you are going to have this white piece of paper, just like so, and I'm stamping him in Memento ink. That's our black ink here. I'm going to turn him over. Now these are pretty good size stamp images, so you're going to need a bigger block. not the hugest block, but a good size block, right? So we're going to ink him up, and there is room. You might have to do him a little bit sideways here, but we're gonna die cut him. So you're going to stamp him. You're going to, of course, have 2 of these, and here's your little gator, just like this. And after we die cut him out, he looks like this. Okay, so now to put him on here, after we color him, he's gonna blend in. So I also provided you a black piece of cardstock, and I want you to use the same gator die, and you're going to actually use the black cardstock and do another one. So after we color him in, we're going to put these together, just offsetting him so he has a little bit of a shadow here. So you can see here a little bit of the black, and it also is popped up on dimensionals, but it does help him to look a little bit more visible. I'm going to bring in some scratch paper here, and we're going to do some coloring. Now this particular card has my favorite kind of coloring. My absolute favorite are the Stampin Blends. I feel like they color the nicest. They give the best coverage. I absolutely love the Stampin Blends. I'm just going to pop in here real quick and see who I've got here. Hi, Sandra, Patty. Awesome. Okay. Oh, Sandra says the llama is her favorite as she knits. I love that so much. Okay, so alligator here. So these are the blends I've chosen. Of course, we have matching colors, right? Stampin' Up makes it easy to match. We've got Parakeet Party, Orchid Oasis. So these colors are in our card. Easy peasy. I wanted to just kind of keep it kind of masculine or boy card friendly, because not everything, and we add a lot of purple and pink to things. So I brought in daffodil and pumpkin. So those are my colors for the flowers in the basket. And then I just popped in a little bit of gray granite here, and this is basically for his tires. I didn't want to go black because I didn't want it to be so dark, but I wanted some kind of a color here. Now you could use a black if you wanted to. You could use a darker gray. I just chose gray granite because I felt like it was really neutral, and the only time I'm going to use it here is just on the tires for a little pop of color. All right, let's do the gator. So he's the biggest thing here on this card, and I'm going to bring in the dark first, and I'm going to do his little gator bumpies here on his tail, and I'm going to just do these real quick in the dark. And I'm going to also be using the light Parakeet Party, but the reality is sometimes they just kind of look the same to me. So we're going to just be really careful though with his teeth up here, because while the gator is happy to be green, his teeth do not need to be green, right? So I'm just going to kind of go around his teeth and make sure I've got all of those in there. I'm going to kind of do his head here. And then I'm going to bring him from the tip of his tail. I'm going to follow the underbelly here right on up with the dark color. And I'm going to do his legs and his little toes here in the dark, and kind of his belly area, and then his arms. And then I'm going to follow the other side here with some dark. So I'm just kind of coming up like this, and I'm also going to hit the line here where his head is. So I'm leaving the rest to be the light color of the Parakeet Party. And I'm just going to kind of scribble this in and kind of blend those together, reminding myself to not color his teeth green, right? So when you use these Stampin' Blends, they are alcohol based. You want to make sure you're covering them, capping them back up pretty quickly, right? Because you don't want them to dry. They dry out quick. So that's why they're capped so tightly. That's why it's so hard to get the caps off. And so I'm just kind of blending those colors together. Now you can see, hopefully in the middle, I know it takes a minute for my camera to adjust, in the middle he's a little bit lighter, and that's awesome. But we're also going to bring in just a swoosh of this light daffodil, and I'm just going to use the brush tip here, and I'm just going to kind of swoosh right up here where his belly is. I'm giving him like kind of a line of the yellow here, which is going to bring in another little tone to him, and hopefully once it's dry, you can actually kind of see it looks a little bit yellow on that one. So there we go. Beautiful, is coming along. Now, of course, I wanted his bike to be blue, so it's got to match some of our cardstock color, right? I'm going to do the seat in a dark, and this looks so dark when it first comes on. I'm going to do the petals just kind of briefly there, just in the dark, and then I'm going to bring in the light Orchid Oasis. I always color with the shorter nib tip. I think that there's way more control, especially with these tiny little lines. I'm not too worried about the little spoke the spokes or the little hubcap in the middle of the wheel there, because I'm going to add my embellishment there. So we're just going to color whatever we need to here that's going to make his bike blue. And I'm going to use the light pumpkin pie for the basket. And again, you could bring in browns, you could go crazy, but I just wanted to simple colors. We're going to do dark daffodil for the flowers, but we're going to put the centers, we're going to make the centers of the flowers orange. So kind of just bright pops of color here. And there are a couple of little leaves in here too, actually. I forgot about the leaves. We're going to bring the dark parakeet back in, and we're going to do the leaves real quick. And I like how this color just, it goes on so effortlessly. I love Stampin' Blends. I just feel like the color kind of just oozes out as you go. And it's easy coloring. And of course, voila, here he is. He's a sweet little gator. I think we've got him all colored in. We're gonna shadow him now. So we're gonna shadow him so that he has a little bit of extra oomph. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put some glue down on here. I'm not going so crazy, right? Because I don't know exactly where he's gonna shift to be a little bit kind of shadowed, if you will. So I'm just going to go ahead and I got to pick this up, and I'm going to move this around a little bit because it's the glue. We can kind of with your fingers push it a little bit. So he has just a little bit of a line of black. It's not the most. Now if I turn it over, you can see the difference here where there's just the shadow of white, right? So what you're looking for is just an even shadow kind of all around. And we're going to pop him up on here with dimensionals, and once we pop him up, of course he's going to look really fantastic. Actually, I'm going to bring in the black dimensionals today because the back of this has so much black on it. It's great. And these come in two sizes. So normally when you order dimensionals, you order either the large or the small. When you get the black ones, you actually get both. I think that's genius, right? So you get 2 sheets of each, I believe, 2 of the minis and 2 of the large, which work out really well for little spaces like his bicycle. I think I can probably get one more small one in right there. So just enough, right, to cover him. His tail will be fine. I don't think I need one on the tail, do I? Let's test. Yeah, he's okay. We won't put anything on his tail today. We'll let his tail be a little bouncy. All right, so those come right off just like that. Once you take that white backing off, you can see that the dimensionals are indeed black. Right? And that's also kind of nice because sometimes when you forget if you took the paper off or not, the black ones, they remind you. They're like, if it's still white, then you didn't take the paper off. And here he goes, and he sits on here so nicely. And really this card kind of looks like he's moving, right? It kind of gives you the idea that he's come across this line. There's a lot of movement, I feel like, on this card without being a moving card, which is awesome. Now, someone might be moved when they get your card because you did such a good job coloring it. I'm like, you guys are awesome that way. Now, the last thing we need to do is the sentiment. So I'm giving you this little medallion here. This is from the Radiating Stitches. And somewhere I set up my embossing right here. Okay, I have embossing. We're embossing every sentiment today, so I'm like, I know I have this stuff here. I made this one a happy birthday card, but this You're Too Wonderful would also fit on here. So you have 3 choices of sentiments. We really didn't talk too much about the stamp set, did we? But you do have, besides the critters, right? So we're using the llama, the alligator, and the raccoon today. There's 3 other critters. I could have made 3 more cards and done a whole set of 6. Wouldn't that have been fabulous? For sentiments, you've got Happy Birthday to You, You're Too Wonderful, Something Great to Celebrate, You. Again, the music notes I talked about, the little party confettis and things, super cute, but a lot of fun. And of course, there's dies to cut out all of those cutesy little things as well. So I'm going to grab out my white powder. I love black cardstock with white embossing powder. It's kind of, as I spell it, it's kind of that chalkboardy look, right? Kind of chalkboardy. Now I always use the Emboss Buddy just to get rid of the static. I don't even know if I just did the right side. Let me look at that. I did. Okay, good. Sometimes it's hard to tell which side is the side that needs to be facing up. Sometimes it's easy to tell. All right, Happy Birthday to You is going right here in the middle. And I'm going to cover up my ink here so I don't get embossing powder in my ink, because it's really easy to get this powder everywhere. Happy birthday to you, just like that. Now I'm going to cover up my powder. I always do everything in these little steps because, my goodness, it does not take much to make a mess. All right, we're going to heat up our heat tool just for a minute, and then we are going to emboss this sentiment. Happy birthday to you. So anytime, there we go. I can see the happy is all done now. It's coming along. Once it starts, it comes pretty quickly. Just turn it a little bit in the light, make sure I got it good. Okay. Happy birthday to you. I'm going to set all those things aside. Now this is going to come on here, and I just love the little swoop of his tail here because I felt like this was a really great spot to tuck that happy birthday to you in. Now I did put a dimensional up here on top of the green, so kind of off the green here a little bit, so that the layers are a little bit flatter as we go. All right, so we're going to add a little bit of glue here to the bottom. I always have to look 3 times to make sure I've got the right part with the glue, right? So he's just going to come on here, happy birthday to you, just right above his tail. I might have put the glue. Nope, I got the glue. I got the glue on there. It took a minute there for it to stick. But there it is. Now we need to add a little bit of bling to this because how cute is the bling? I just have to find the bling. Here it is. All right, so again, these are the great little classic matte dot. Like they're the classic colors. So you can see, hopefully you can see with the embellishments and without the embellishments, right? Of course we have to put those little things right over his wheel covers here, and black just seems a little bit perfect for this, right? So we're going to just put those on there. So cute. Now of course when you have these at home, you can go crazy with them. If you're somebody that likes to, you know, just put them all over your card, you could definitely continue to add. But how cute is little Gator, right? And you can change up the color of his flowers in the basket. I mean, so many things you can do differently if you wanted to, but this is my version of Gator card, and I think this is a lot of fun. Now every time I make these cards, of course I'm keeping in mind that it could be potentially my swap card. Jess, I'm reading your comment. Used to have a stuffed gator. My dad won. Aww. That's so sweet, a stuffed gator. Thanks, Mary. I'm glad you like this card. This is a really fun card for sure. Okay, so let's move on to card number 2. And another technique in coloring. So we're going to change it up each time. And we're bringing in the llama, the one that Sandra has a good vibe with because she's out there doing the fun knitting and such. So I love these colors together. Wow, holy cow. So when the color refresh came along, right, it's time to play not only with new colors but move the new colors in with existing colors. So this is Lemon Lolly, and Lemon Lolly looks so beautiful, of course with black, right? Yellow and black's very classy. But check out Melon Mambo. Like, wow, who knew, right? So you're gonna get 2 card bases with this kit, 2 envelopes, and 2 of all of the things. So I'm gonna move these around, and we are going to put together a card, and I'm gonna show you some other coloring ideas here. Because I tend to use blends all the time, I want to also use other things too, right? So I don't wanna always be using the blends, just so you guys have other options and ideas and so on and so forth. All right, so we moved half of the kit aside, which is beautiful. I do have a card base here that's already scored, ready to go. If I can get hold of it. It's tucked up on my shelf and it's like stuck. Okay, here it is, beautiful, right? All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we're gonna do with some of these parts and pieces that it's a little bit different, because I try to do some different things. I'm gonna bring in my scoring tool, which is also, of course, my cutting tool. And we're actually going to score the top and the bottom of this Lemon Lolly. So I don't know, you probably can't really see it. It might be hard to see here, but there are some score lines here, top and bottom. And because we're not embossing this, I didn't want it to be too busy, but I didn't want it to be so plain. So we're actually going to score the top and bottom. And I'm just going to put this in at the 1/4 inch mark. I have to move my cutting blade out of the way. So 1/4 inch, I want you to score it really good. Move it over to the 1/2 inch and also score it. just don't cut it, right? So we've scored 2 lines in there, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other end. So 1/4 of an inch. And of course, these are optional, but I'm just showing you how much fun it is to, you know, do a little bit of scoring here. And I score it quite extensively because then we get the deeper look to it. So we've just got top and bottom, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch score lines, and it just adds a lot to the card without having to add a lot to the card. All right, so let's put some bones together just so you can see what this card would look like if you didn't use the llama, and then you can envision it with something else perhaps. So we're going to put Lemon Lolly right on top of this black layer, just like so, matted together so nicely. And then this is going to go right on our card base. Keeping in mind we have portrait, and it opens this way. I always try to look. I shouldn't say I always look. If I don't look, that's the time I have my card base upside down backwards, and I end up with the wrong kind of card, the kind that doesn't open. Okay, so matted on there so beautifully, loving these colors. We're going to just bring in this piece of Designer Series paper. Again, I've really cut these to, that's cute, to be the black and white versions because, you know, that's kind of where we're going with these. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this one down, making a nice little layer here. Julie cut this the wrong size. What size did I want this to be? That's at 4, and I believe this is 3 3/4. It sure is. We're going to trim this real quick. Oh my goodness. All right, we're going to do this really quick, and I have glue on it, so I don't ever glue all the way to the side, which is helpful, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to get glue on my trimmer just the same. Okay, good to know, good to know. Sometimes, you know, I'm a little generous with the paper here. All right, this is going to go down here. Decide which way you want your little zigzags to go, up and down, because obviously you could get them going either way. Okay, now this is also going to be the wrong size. We're going to trim this one too. My son called and we did some FaceTime with the grandsons while I was cutting card kits for this class, which was just like a little over an hour ago. So I'm like last minute girl here. And so I'm trying to frantically cut paper, talk to the grandsons, entertain everybody. And so obviously I did not cut those the correct way. But we're going to talk about watercolor pencils next. This is fun because this was interesting to me. So watercolor pencils are not new to Stampin' Up. This is, I put mine in the DVD cases. These DVD cases are so good for so many things. So this is a full set of watercolor pencils. And then I just cut out the paper or the box a little bit and kind of put them in here so I can see what colors are in here. This one is still in the catalog. Now you can see that this is the old school, this was their very first set of watercolor pencils that they ever came out with. So you can see the old school wrap in here. So kind of again, the same thing. And I actually took these 3 colors that I'm using today from the old ones. But when I did the research, there's a new set. There's a new set in the catalog. And most of these are the same color. And I thought it was really interesting that they changed them. So if you just will allow me to find these in here. I really thought this was fascinating. So the new assortment has basic black, which is already here, basic gray, already here, basic white, already here, blue. They just said blue. Now, of course, they got rid of Bermuda Bay and Pacific Point, so these retired. But the new color is just blue. In the catalog, it says blue. It doesn't say what blue, it says blue. We have Calypso Coral here, Daffodil Delight here, Early Espresso is here, Fresh Freesia is not here, so Fresh Freesia would be new. Melon Mambo is here, Old Olive is here, Pecan Pie is new, Pumpkin Pie is here, and Real Red is here. So I thought that this was kind of interesting. So there's 13 pencils for this one, and there's 13 pencils for this. So they swapped them out. So they are on page 125 if you need to check those out. New watercolor pencils. Now, if you have this set, a lot of them are going to be duplicates. There's only a few that are going to be new to you, but I had to check that out because I was like wondering what the difference was on those watercolor pencils. So let me set those all aside. So I'm just using Melon Mambo, Daffodil, and Old Olive because they're really close to colors here that I'm going to be working with these with this card. Now you're going to see here that my paper, my designer paper, looks a little bit different from this designer paper, and that's because I actually colored in some of these flowers. So I'm going to do this real quick. So I'm going to color in the Melon Mambo petals, and I'm only doing the two sides because wherever it's going to get covered up in the middle, I am definitely not going to bother to color. Now if you needed some color therapy, you could definitely do that. And I'm just kind of putting on a quick little layer here of watercolor pencil. So again, the leaves are in, the flower petals are in Melon Mambo. I probably didn't need to color that one. Let's go to this side. Melon Mambo. And then I'm going to come through with my two other colors. Again, just really quick coloring. You could do this with blends too. You could do this with the Stampin' Write markers, but watercolor pencils might be a really good option for this. Now I like to kind of do a little test here to see where is my next layer going to cover so that I can stop. I might just grab a couple of petals here just in case. I'm going to bring in the daffodil and I'm going to do the centers of each of my flowers. And I did sharpen up my my pencils here between jobs. So I can say that a sharp pencil is a lot nicer, definitely. You can just get a nice pencil sharpener. I happen to have, this is it's called Prismacolor. It has two little spots here to put the tips in. I think one of them works better than the other, and I'm pretty sure I probably got this on Amazon or at the store. You know, any general craft supply really is you know, just a nice sharpener. You don't want to get like a super cheap one because then you're just going to break the tips every time you sharpen them, and that gets old and frustrating, and then you're going to use up your pencils before you can use up your pencils. Okay, so Old Olive is going on the leaves here a little bit, and it just adds a little pop of color, and I think that's probably all we're going to need. So I'm just going to measure real quick here. And yes, we are good. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. So just a little bit of coloring. I am not doing anything other than that. Just really simple watercolor pencils. And that's going to come down here on top of my layer, right? So if you have this card kit at home, here is the bones, right? And then you're going to have this layer right here. This is the deckled rectangle in Melon Mambo. We're going to add some more to this though, because we're not done with that. We're going to make this pop a little bit with some ink and a blender brush, because that's going to make it pretty. So I'm just going to bring in the ink, and I'm just going to come down onto the top, all four sides really, but I like to rotate it because I feel like coming down toward me is the easiest way to get the ink on there. So you don't have to think about like rotating your body, your arm, your hand, right? Just rotate your paper. It's going to be easier. All right, I'm leaving the middle lighter, so hopefully that catches, right? So it's bright in the middle, and then when our little knitting llama sits there, she's gonna have like a fancy little aura or glow about her, right? So she's gonna be so cute. All right, so looking to see, yes, I did pop this layer up. This layer is gonna go on dimensionals. Let's bring those back in. So again, I use the DVD cases for a lot of things. You saw them for watercolor pencils. I have dimensionals in them. I have all kinds of, I use them for quite a bit. I use my little chamois scrubbers are in those cases. They are so easy to store that way too, because they take up just a thin amount of room, right? They're DVD size. All right, so this is going to come on here. And we're going to put it on. Now we have to remember that we want to cover our flowers, right? So make sure, oh, I might need to color some more flowers, or maybe I'll move that over a little bit more. Will that be too much? We're going to go right about here. This is going to be up a little bit higher. I think we're good though. Okay, so here's again, the bones of your card, right? I'm leaving this here because we do need to stamp our llama on the white. So I have the white paper here for you to put your llama on. So again, Memento ink and a nice cute little, I mean, so cute. Love it. It's just so much fun. All right, let me stack up my things out of the way here. Now I did die cut this already. So when you die cut out the llama, you got this right here. And then you are going to also have this paper, which will die cut a banner. So this is really fun because there's actually a banner. We didn't really talk about the dies. Let's talk about the dies. So besides all of those big shapes of the critters, you have a banner die. How cool is that, right? So you have a nice little banner die. It's going to look like this. You have a curtain stage. You have like you could actually use this for waves, for any ocean type cards. There's a little stool here, which is so cute. There's some flowers in a flower pot. And then there's some bigger flowers. There's a balloon. There's a cloud. There's let's see, what else is there? Little Christmas trees. I mean, there's a lot going on in this set. So you can make like little scenes, right? But we're going to color our llama. And this time we are using, again, so we're going to stick with these same 3 color pencils, these watercolor pencils that we used previously to do the designer paper. So I'm just going to kind of scribble on some color here. I'm not going to be too fancy. This is going to be like scribbling it on, right? I'm not getting it. It doesn't even look pretty right now, I gotta say, and that's because I'm scribbling it on. So we're going to do llama's chair in this beautiful green. And then I thought it was interesting. So the bottom of this chair has that like dust ruffle, like the old-fashioned chairs. So obviously this is an old-fashioned llama, right? She's got the little dust ruffle on her chair. We're going to bring in the yellow, and I'm going to do her little yarn ball here. And I'm going to do her entire knitted piece. I'm assuming this is like a scarf. It looks like it's about a scarf size, I think. Now this could be fun. Obviously, you could color this in all kinds of colors, right? And then I'm going to bring in the pink because I felt like it needed pink. Now her eyelashes, she's got some really great eyeshadow going on. She's wearing some deep pink there. I'm going to just put a little bit of pink on her ears. I decided, since I wanted more pink, that her hoofs should be pink. Like maybe she painted her nails, like her hoofs are her nails, and she painted them in this lovely pink color. Like how cute is that, right? All right, so here's my llama. Not the prettiest coloring job in the world whatsoever. Get that out of the way. You probably don't need that anymore. But because we have blender pens, thank God for blender pens, they come in a 3-pack and they transfer ink really well. There's like a glycerin in here. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you can, my camera will take a minute to focus, but you can probably see green scribble lines here. Like I scribbled the watercolor pencil. I did not do a pretty job there, but I'm going to use this pen here, and this just kind of puts some kind of like a liquid out. Actually, I probably used a little bit too much there because I think it pilled up. I don't use these very often, but it does smooth out the watercolor pencil lines, so you don't have those sharp lines now. So now you have kind of just a nice watercolor, water washed look. And I'm going to just kind of come down here and do the bottom. You can also fill in more, so you don't have to color completely with a watercolor pencil. Like if you miss a spot and you still have a little bit on the tip, you can actually put a little bit of color down in another location, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to scribble that, make sure I scribble off between, right? So I want to make sure that any of the green that's on here goes away before I move on to another color. So I'm going to do the same thing here with the yellow, and I'm just going to push this right down through. It probably from a distance here doesn't look like much, but I assure you what a difference it makes. So you can see, okay, so the yellow really picked up quite a bit. So right here, there's a whole bunch of yellow that I just scribbled off. Now we're going to move on to the pink. So let me lift this up one more time so you can kind of hopefully see a little bit of my coloring. I don't know if my camera, there we go. Now my camera's kind of focusing it a little bit. So when I do the pink, I'm going to catch her hoofs down here. And again, it picks up the pink on the tip of this. So I'm actually going to just kind of give her a little bit of a pink edge here on her legs. So again, if I pick this up and let my camera focus, you might be able to see the pink on her legs. I didn't put watercolor pencil there, but I put the blender pen that had some pink ink on it. So you can move it around, and it's a little bit lighter when you do that. So again, I'm going to kind of come in and just kind of do her sleeve just a little bit there. Just gives her a little extra color. We're going to fix her eyeshadow, touch up her ears. She's a pretty girl. Look at that. And now she's done. That's it. So I want to make sure I get the pink. There was a bit of pink on here, right? So you just scribble this off until it's clear. You can't see any other color coming out. Cap that up. You get 3 of these in a box. They work really well. I mean, I prefer to use, when I use the watercolor pencils, I prefer to blender pen them in so that they're nice and pretty. You can also use these on your ink pads or with ink refills, and you're basically making a marker out of those. So I wanted to share that with you. Don't use that very often, but it is another way to color. Now you will be getting this little punch piece. This comes from the double oval punch. How clever is this right here? The double oval punch. I saw somebody else do this and I was like, oh my gosh, that's genius. It's a little rug, like, right? So now she's sitting on a little rug. Now, of course, in the dies, there was also the little table, and you could put a little flower pot on the table for people that like to do the paper piecing. So cute, right? So here we go. We're going to pop her right up here. So she's got this nice little rug that she's hanging out on. And next we're going to do our sentiment on here. And this one is, of course, You're Too Wonderful. I think anybody that can do knitting and crochet is also very wonderful, because those are not skills that I possess at all. All right, so we're going to bring this all back in again. Use my little emboss buddy on there. So again, we're going to heat emboss on black with white powder. And these cards are just a lot of fun when you, and if you're doing cards like this and you're getting out all of your heat stuff, you might as well do a whole bunch at a time. Just do a whole bunch. All right, so I'm going to try to pick this up and not drop it, not get my fingers where the ink is before I can get the powder on there. So there it is. You're Too Wonderful. Okay, we move this aside and find the heat tool again. And my little clothespin. And off we go. And I think we are done. Just like that. You're Too Wonderful. All right, now when I put this one on, I did put the dimensionals on, actually I put the dimensionals on the top. So I'm bringing the black, of course I've got the black ones here because we got black cardstock. It just hides it so nicely. I'm going to put one right there, and then I'm going to put one on this side right here, but not on this side right here. This side right here is going to hit this pink cardstock, which already is raised up. So, right, so it's going to go right up there at the top. So I can actually add a little bit of glue right here, because this is going to hit the pink Melon Mambo that's already bumped up. So we're just going to put this on here, and I'm basically lining this up with the top of the Lemon Lolly and putting it partly on the pink and then partly off the pink. Look how cute. How cute. I love these vibrant colors together. Now, if someone were in my craft room, they would tell me where my gems went. Okay, I found them. Good deal. I have been like just piling stuff up everywhere. All right, so this time I chose to use the white gems because I felt like they were the brightest and the most fun. So we're just going to pop a few of these on here. Just like so. So we got our little triangle pattern going on. How cute is this one, right? All right, so now we've got 2 cards in. We're 2 cards in. We have 1 to go. Just checking in to see. Jess says blender pens are the best. Yes, they are. Hi, Linda. All right, good deal. Okay, just making sure we're still good. All right, let's move on to our final card. And the third way, which we are going to do some coloring, or actually this one has like less coloring. This is a little raccoon card, and I brought in Pretty Peacock for this one. I like these colors, again, playing with colors just to see what colors go together. So Pretty Peacock is our base color here, which is a fantastic color. I do have a base already ready to go, and I've moved in some Petal Pink with this one. So again, taking a new color or one that's come back and switching it up. Now you're going to get everything you see that I pull apart in these kits. You're going to get an embossed piece. You're going to get these die cut pieces right here. You're going to get this piece that is punched with the flag banner pick a punch. This will be your piece for your raccoon to stamp on. So really you're just stamping and die cutting the raccoon. For this one you're also getting some really awesome ribbon. some beautiful ribbon. So again, the petal pink, matchy matchy, it's so pretty. All right, let's put together our card bones here before we do our little raccoon guy. So again, lots of layers. We're gonna set this one aside for stamping. And we're gonna start just assembling up our layers. So we've got black on petal pink here this time. And the petal pink is just to brighten this card up. Obviously black and peacock would have been really, it would have been a very dark card. We're not going really for a dark card. We're going for a cute card, but I wanted it to continue to have the black theme that we've been working on here, right? So we've got a lot of black in our designer paper, and I just wanted to keep that going. So I'm just going to layer on the designer paper onto this little layering system here, and then I'm going to put this one over here onto the side for fun. Now if you wanted to, you could add some ink to this, sponge it down, make it darker. They are the same height, but I'm staggering them for interest, right? So they're on here, they're not like exactly matted, but it gives just a different look. So think about that. You don't always have to cut your paper different sizes, but you can stagger them. Before this goes on the card base, we're going to wrap some ribbon around. So first we're going to just trim some here for the wrapping. The rest of it's going to be for the bow. So separate. And I like to do the ribbon on my silicone mat because the tape gets everywhere. You guys, you were like, oh, glue gets everywhere. No, tape gets everywhere. So this is very sticky. So we're just going to bring this over here, and I'm just going to put this on here and push that down, and then we're going to wrap to the back. So a little bit of tape runner here to wrap this over, catch the ends, and just like that. Now this layer can go down onto the card base. I started to put this together keeping in mind that I wanted to add that ribbon to the back, and my first go round I had to pull something apart and start over because I was just getting happy laying down those layers today. I'm telling you what. All right, so bones of your card, right? So this is your card kit right here, bones of your card with a little bow. Super easy, right? It doesn't have to have a raccoon. It could have anything, absolutely anything. Actually, this is going to go up with dimensional, so let's do that too. We're going to pop that right on. Now always look to make sure you're using the right side of your die cuts, because there's a pretty side and then there's kind of a scraggly side. The side that doesn't look as pretty, you definitely want to put the adhesive on and hide it away. So we're going to put this on here. Well, right about there I think is a good spot. We're going to heat emboss that shortly. We're going to make a little bow, but let's talk about our raccoon first. Little raccoon. So again, Memento ink. Raccoon with balloons. This is so cute. Now, last week, not last year, last week I did the balloon bundle. And look, we're back to balloons. I'm just like, this is my party month. This is my birthday month, so it's like party month for me. All right, raccoon, as soon as you stamp him, you can die cut him. And he looks like this. So we've got our little die cut. Now we're going to talk about another way that you can color. So this is my least favorite way to color, but we have some really great colors. We have Wink of Stella. I don't know if you noticed that, but this little guy has like shimmery balloons on there. He's got some shine to it. Love the Wink of Stella, which is on back order indefinitely. So hopefully you have some, because it's really awesome stuff. And when it comes back in, get two. They'll have it for a really long time. I used the new version of the Stampin Write Markers, and I absolutely adore the new the nub end here. So I chose Petal Pink and Pretty Peacock, which are colors here in my card, and then I chose Calypso Coral and Lost Lagoon, because look at how beautiful these colors go together, like amazing. Now for the coloring part, again, I'm going to use what is now the new nib end. Now if you have the old Stampin' Write Markers, this end does not work. You're going to be using the big brush end, which is doable. I actually started to work with that, but because these balloons are so tiny, this new end worked really well. So I was able to actually put my color down a lot easier this way. Now the only thing with the markers is you don't want to go over your paper as much as you can with the blends. You can go over and over your paper and it doesn't pill up at all. With the markers, you have to be careful because it will pill up if you continue to go over the same spot over and over again. So That is why I don't like to color with the markers as much as I do with the Stampin' Blends. I feel like the Stampin' Blends are just so much more forgiving. But if you have markers, you can definitely color with them. And these are good for coloring right on the red rubber stamps as well. So if you want to stamp something in multiple colors, you can use the Stampin' Write markers for that, which is awesome. And last, we're going to do this guy right here. So again, I love the new version of these markers. The makeup of them is much more like the Stampin' Blends now, which is good. And I feel like this small end is also still really good for writing. It's not so big, but man, the color comes out so beautifully. I love that. Now we're actually leaving the raccoon. We're not even coloring the raccoon in. We're leaving him black and white. So this is going to make for easy peasy. Just a little bit of glimmer on each of these little balloons here. And this is the way that I like to color, also quick coloring, just something simple, a little bit of color on there, and then you call it a day. So there's our little raccoon, and he's all colored, and he looks beautiful, right? He matches our cards so nicely. Now I'm going to glue him down flat, but his balloon is going to stick up a little bit, so I want to make sure I don't go crazy on the balloon part. Now, if you are at home and you're like, no, the raccoon is naked, he needs color, then you can definitely add some color. You can definitely add more. I just didn't want to color him some more, so I wanted him to be kind of simple. And a lot of the samples in the catalog show them black and white as well. Let's do our sentiment. This is the last sentiment in the set, something great to celebrate you. And we're going to bring in the heat embossing one more time. So again, the Boss Buddy comes in so handy. We got to make sure we get the right sentiment here. Now this one I did use the banner Pick-a-Punch. So this is a 3/4 inch width, and I cut the cardstock. I punched both ends. Yours will come just like this in your kits. So you just have to add the sentiment on it and heat emboss it if that's what you want to do. Or you could use this as a layering piece too. You don't have to heat emboss if you don't want to. Now you can see here all this powder. Hopefully you can see all this powder on the end. This is where my finger was, and that's why that little embossing buddy is so handy, right? It gets rid of the spots where you don't want all of the powder to be, especially on the black and white, because that, I feel like that shows up the worst. That's the worst offense. All right, let's make sure that's covered. Do the last little sentiment here. And I love again how the white embossing powder and the black sentiments on each card just make this such a nice little set of cards. Very cohesive. All right, that's good to go. And we're gonna do some black embellishments, some black dimensionals on there, and that's gonna, oh my gosh, that's gonna come on here the right side up. I'm not gonna put that upside down. That's gonna come on here right side up. So let me go ahead and grab those off the back of that. I'm just checking out where exactly I want them. I should probably have both cards so you can see. So it's gonna come down right about here, just under the circle, and then also off a little bit so that everything's not right on the whole layering. I like to let a few things kind of go off, so that way it's, you know, not heavy in one particular spot. All right, with the remainder of the ribbon here that you get, you're going to create a nice little bow and adjust, because once you make a bow, you're adjusting the bow, right? So adjust your bow, decide how big you want everything to be, and it's going to come out. Oh, that's super cute. You're going to trim it so that it doesn't run into the sentiment too much. Oh, I like this bow better. I like this bow a lot better. Oh, I did way better on the second. You know, normally I struggle with my bows. So you have options, of course, when you put the bow on. You can put it where the black and the petal pink meet. You could put it all the way to the end, or you could put it snug up next to the circle also. And I think because this is such a nice full bow, I'm going to put it up next to the circle this time rather than over. So on my first card, my sample card, I put it where the petal pink and the black meet, but this time I'm going to put it right over here. I think that looks think that looks nice. So there, I think I was a little bit more generous with my bow this time. And on this card, I chose to use embellishments that are I'm actually using the gray. So because there's no, these are very neutral colors, right? I thought the gray almost takes on the peacock look. It's almost like a bluish look to it once you put it in here. And I thought that worked. Now, of course, you'll have white, you'll have black. Either of them would work here too. But let's take a look at all of our cards here. I would love to know which one was your favorite tonight. Let me cover up my glue because you know that's going to dry out and drive me crazy. All right, we have a raccoon. We have llama. These are so much fun. I love the colors. I love the brightness here too, right? And we have gator. How fun are these cards? I love these card kits. We did it. Look at that. All right, I'm going to pop over. Look at the time is 9 o'clock. That's perfect. Thanks, Patsy. Aw, cute cards. Hi, Jess. The raccoon is adorable. All adorable cards. Thanks, Jackie. They are. I thought so too. Again, this was not my my first pick. I like critters, but I don't like these are weird looking critters. Let's face it. They're not cutesy critters. I like the cutesy critters, like the bunny is really cute, right? I like the birdies. I like the cutesy critters or the very realistic animals. The hodgepodge, like these are cartoony and they're different. Let's go with they're different. But after I played with them, I realized how much fun they are, and I'm thinking they're fun because you don't have to try hard. You pop one of these on a card, you can just very minimally put on some paper, a fun little element. You can stamp one of these out, die cut from the paper, the designer series paper, and you're good to go. So, oh, Patsy's going to watch the replay. Thanks for, absolutely. I'm here every Monday to inspire you. And then I'm back on Thursday at 3 o'clock and I'm going to do it again. So Thursday at 3, I always do kind of like a quick technique card, not a hard card, because I like to make it fast and quick on a Thursday. So we will be back on Thursday with our technique card. Make sure you're checking out Positive Paper Crafters. One of these cards is going to be a color swap. So I'm going to take one of them, flip all the colors around, and then on Wednesday on Positive Paper Crafters, you guys vote for your favorite, like who wore it better. So that is the card class for tonight. Thanks for checking it out. If you're interested, remember in the card kits, $35 minimum order with my host code. You get the kits, you get the embellishment added on when you spend $50. And if you spend $150, don't use my code because then you get to get free stuff for yourself besides the stuff that I'm going to send to you. So thank you so much for enjoying. I will check all your comments. If you have any questions, leave them here too. And remember, let me know which one you like the best. Just like the raccoon. I don't know. I'm at a toss-up between the gator and the llama myself. But all right, I will see you guys on Thursday at 3 for another card. So come back and check it out. All right, everyone have a great night. And until next time, stay inspired, create something beautiful, and share the love. Bye.